Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. In this video, I'm going to talk about tax tips every bookkeeper should know. And before I get started, let me just say that I am not a CPA. I'm not an enrolled agent. I'm not a tax expert. I'm just a bookkeeper. I'm a bookkeeping expert. I'm not a tax expert. So, all of this advice that I'm about to give you should definitely consult with a CPA or a tax professional before you listen to anything that I say. This is just what I have learned over the past 5 years through my own personal experience. I don't do taxes for people. I don't offer tax strategy. This is just very basic level tax tips that I think every bookkeeper should know. And before I get started with that, let me just talk about real quick. So every Monday at 3 p.m., I host a private group meeting, and I have 40 people signed up for the class. About 20 people, give or take, end up showing up every Monday at 3 p.m. It's a private group meeting through Zoom, and we just talk for an hour. We ask questions, we share stories. There's one person, I'm not going to give you his name, obviously. There's one person who has been in the group for about 6 months. Over the summer, he had a really hard time getting clients. And then he got a couple clients and he had some success. He got a big cleanup project. He kept his full-time job. And yesterday he just opened up and he just talked about how he was struggling. He was feeling burnt out, a little bit frustrated, hopeless maybe, that he just wasn't going to get enough clients to the point where he could quit his full-time job. And he got to the point where he thought, my marketing isn't working, because I promote social media marketing all done by myself for free. I don't do paid ads. I'm not saying paid ads are a bad thing. It's just not my strategy. So I teach people free, organic social media marketing done by myself. That's what he's been doing for the past 6 months, posting every day, finding prospective clients, connecting with them, engaging with their posts, replying to comments on his posts, sending direct messages to his Facebook friends and LinkedIn connections. And he just opened up. Yesterday, he said, you know what? If I can be honest, I'm feeling burnt out. And he talked for 2 or 3 minutes and just kind of shared his feelings and said how he just didn't know what to do. And to that, here's what I responded. Here's what I said. This is the turning point. This is the pivotal moment in your bookkeeping career. You're 6 months into it. And this is where a lot of people give up. Starting a bookkeeping business is simple. You just learn bookkeeping in QuickBooks, do some social media marketing, get a couple clients, record transactions, reconcile accounts, and generate financial reports. Really, really simple. But it's incredibly hard because we have to show up every day. We have to be consistent every day. We got to do the same thing over and over again. There's no boss holding us accountable. There's no coworkers to teach us how to do things. We are out there on our own trying to start a business. It is incredibly difficult. It's very, very hard. Don't ever let anybody tell you that starting a business is easy. It might be simple, but it's very, very hard to get started and to continue getting past that 6-month mark. So I just gave him some advice. I said, listen, you are at that turning point where most people give up. You have put in so much work up until this point. You have created the content. You've got all the social media channels set up. You've already got a couple clients. I know you still have your full-time job. It might feel unsustainable right now, but you've got to figure out how to make it sustainable. I know you're working a lot right now. Maybe figure out how to create your content a little bit faster, a little bit easier. You got to figure out how to sustain, because that 6-month mark is where so many people give up. And if you're feeling like that, I felt the same way. I still feel the same way sometimes, but you can't give up. The only people who fail starting the bookkeeping business are the people who give up. Everybody else, including you watching this right now, everybody else who's still trying to grow their bookkeeping business, you have not failed yet. You are still succeeding because you haven't given up. Business is an infinite game. There are no winners and losers. There are only players. So as long as you continue playing the game, you are still winning. You have not lost yet. So don't give up, especially at that 6-month mark. I know it feels hard. I know you feel hopeless. You feel frustrated. You feel like you're not getting any clients, but you can't give up. You have to push through. Continue creating content. Maybe try this. Maybe take a break. Maybe take a 3 or 4 day break. Refresh, recharge, take a short break, but get right back into it. Or just figure out how to make 3 or 4 posts really, really easily. Just continue posting every day, but just make them super simple. Use ChatGPT, make them really easy. Just schedule them and forget about it. Delete Facebook, delete LinkedIn off of your phone. Take a break. Take a 3 or 4 day break and then come back next week feeling refreshed. But don't throw in the towel. Don't give up. Don't quit. You have to persevere. You have to be consistent. It's incredibly hard, but it will be rewarding. I promise you. Just don't give up. Hopefully that's my motivational, inspirational speech to everybody out there who's feeling a little bit frustrated, a little bit hopeless. Okay, let's talk about some tax tips every bookkeeper should know. Really basic. So I'm going to be going live for the next 30 minutes. If you have any questions, if you're watching live, feel free to drop some questions in the chat and I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can. If you're listening on my podcast on Apple or Spotify, thanks for listening. Check me out on YouTube if you want. If you want to check me out on YouTube, I've got the exact same name on YouTube as I do on podcast, Bookkeeping Expert, Zach Pasquarello. And if you're watching this replay, I go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 10 a.m. So if you want to watch live, tune in live and you can ask some questions in real time. Okay, tax deadlines. So we have 3 major tax forms that I'm aware of. Like I said, not a tax expert, just a bookkeeper. So we've got the 1040, individual income tax return, 1040. Everybody has to file this. Every individual has to file the 1040. That is due April 15th. And then if you want to go on extension, then it's due October 15th. So you've got a 6-month extension. That's just an extension to file. You still have to pay your taxes on time. Otherwise, you're going to get penalties, fines, interest. So it's still recommended that you pay your taxes on time, but you can extend your filing deadline. So if you're a 1040, if you're a business owner, likely you're going to have a Schedule C attached to your 1040. And you can look it up online, IRS form Schedule C. It's literally just a profit and loss for a business. And then there's Schedule E, which is similar to Schedule C, but Schedule E is for rentals. So if you just have a couple rentals, then you can file a Schedule E attached to your 1040 individual income tax return. And then we have 1065, which is the partnership tax form, and 1120S, which is the S corporation tax form. Those are due March 15th, 1 month before the 1040, because you're going to get a K1 as a partner or as the owner of an S corporation. You're going to get a K1, and then you're going to use the information from the K1 to file your 1040 individual income tax return. So even if you own an S corporation or a partnership, you're still going to file a 1040. You're just going to use the K1 from the 1065 or 1120S to file your 1040 individual income tax return. So you might have a couple partnerships or a couple S corporations or a couple single member LLCs and not taxed as an S corp. So you might have to have a couple Schedule Cs. Maybe you've got some rentals. You might have a couple Schedule Cs, a few Schedule Es, and then you might have a couple K1s from some partnerships and a K1 from an S corporation. So as you get more entities, as you get more businesses, your 1040 individual income tax return will get more complicated as you get more K1s, more Schedule C, more Schedule E. And then the extension for 1065, 1120S, the extension is 1 month before the extension for the 1040. So it's September 15th is the filing extension deadline for partnerships and S corporations. Quarterly taxes are due January 15th, April 15th, June 15th, and September 15th. I'm like 95% sure that's right. I forgot to write that down in my notes. I'm pretty sure that's right. But here's the thing. So your 2025 quarterly taxes were due April 15th, June, September, and January 2026. So theoretically, ideally, in January of 2026, you should have you will make your final 2025 estimated quarterly tax payment. So the IRS, of course, wants you to pay all of your taxes due before you actually file your taxes in April of 2026 for 2025. A little bit confusing. You're going to pay quarterly taxes, 3 payments in 2025, 1 payment in 2026, all for 2025. And then so April 15th, when you file your taxes, your first quarterly tax payment will be due for 2026. Hopefully that makes sense. If you don't file quarterly taxes, the IRS will charge you interest. I think it might be 7 or 8%, give or take. I could be wrong, but it's right around there. So they will charge you interest on underpaid taxes. And now this might not be right, but I think this is how it is. The IRS bases your estimated taxes due based on your previous year tax liability. I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of how it works. It gets pretty complicated. Definitely talk to your CPA about this or do your own research. But I think, for example, if you owed $10,000 for 2024 taxes, your tax liability for 2024 was $10,000. I think you need to pay close to $10,000 for your 2025 quarterly taxes to avoid needing to pay interest or fines or penalties or whatever on your 2025 estimated quarterly taxes. I could be wrong, but I think the current year quarterly payments are based on the previous year's tax liabilities. Maybe not directly, maybe not one for one, 100%, but I do think they are related, somehow calculated based on the previous year tax liability. Gets super complicated. This is why I'm not a CPA. I don't do taxes. I'm not a tax expert. I just do bookkeeping. But this is still really important information for two reasons. You are a business owner and you also work with business owners. So it is really important that you do know this information. Okay, sales tax. I don't touch it. I don't do it. Sales tax is arguably one of the most complicated taxes out there because every state is different. Every service is taxed differently. Every product is taxed differently. Different customers in different states, different businesses in different states. Sales tax, unbelievably complicated. I don't touch it. Leave that up to the CPA. Leave that up to the sales tax expert. 1099 versus W-2. Who gets, and by the way, if you're watching this live, if you wouldn't mind, just let me know that you can hear me. Please let me know that you can hear me, see me. I would really appreciate that. Let me know in the chat and then I will do my best. Looks like there's like 30 or 40 people watching live right now. Let me know in the chat what your questions are. It can be about anything. It can be about bookkeeping, QuickBooks, taxes, sales, marketing, customer service, onboarding clients, client agreement, catch-up projects, whatever your questions might be, let me know. 1099 W-2. So if you have an independent contractor working for your business, they get a 1099. If you have an employee, they get a W-2. Full-time employee, independent contractor, I can make an hour-long presentation on the difference between the two, but just know that they are very different. The rules are constantly changing. W-2, full-time employee, 1099, independent contractor. The way I generally think about it, 1099, W-2 employee, you tell them what to do. 1099, you don't tell them what to do. When you hire me as a bookkeeper, you don't tell me how to do your bookkeeping. I tell you what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it. I have my own laptop. I have my own home office. I'm an independent contractor. W-2 employee, hey, come to my office. Be here at 9 a.m. Here's your computer. Here's your desk. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. On Friday, do this. On Thursday, do that. Monday morning, do this. Here's how to do it. Here's when to do it. Here's why we do it. Here's where to do it. That's a full-time employee, somebody you tell what to do, when to do, where to do, why to do, how to do. Independent contractor, you don't tell them what to do. They just do what they do. 1099, you want to get a W-9. Get a W-9 from your independent contractors before you pay them. I tell all my clients, before you pay somebody, get their W-9. You lose all leverage after you've paid them. If you don't get a W-9 and you hire Billy Bob for $1,000 to help you for a week, and you're never going to see him ever again, he's not going to give you his W-9. He's gone. He went on to the next job. You're never going to hear from Billy Bob ever again. Nothing against Billy Bob. He's a great guy. He's a great worker, but you're never going to hear from him again because he doesn't want to get a 1099. He doesn't want to pay taxes on the $1,000 that you gave him. But before you pay him, hey, Mr. Bob, I'm going to need your W-9 before I can pay you. Sorry, that's just how I operate. Got to be compliant with the IRS. Get the W-9 before you pay somebody. And the W-9 just gathers very basic 1099 information. Their name, the name of their company, their address, their social security, the type of company that they have. Get W-9 before you pay somebody. 1099s are due January 31st. As a bookkeeper, I filed 1099s for my clients. I charge them $15 per 1099. And then I use QuickBooks Online to electronically file 1099s. So you have to electronically file them to the IRS, and then you can also either electronically deliver them or mail them to the contractors. So you need to send the 1099 both places. You got to send it to the IRS and send it to the actual independent contractor. You can do both, through QuickBooks Online. They charge $4 or $5 per 1099. I charge $15. So my client basically pays about $20 per 1099. W-2, you have to use a payroll company. You have to use a payroll company if you have employees, even yourself. If you are an employee of your company, then you have to use a payroll company. I guess technically you don't have to use a payroll company, but you're going to have to file 941, the quarterly federal tax return. You're going to have to file the 940, the annual federal unemployment tax return, the 944, the annual federal tax return, and then you're going to have to distribute a W-2, W-3 to the IRS and to your employees. So I would never recommend doing that manually. I hire ADP. It's a software company / payroll provider. They don't sponsor me. I'm not paid to say this, but I would use ADP. I do use ADP for my own companies. They're a national, massive company, really good at what they do. I use ADP. Gusto, QuickBooks Online, my opinion, horrible. I love QuickBooks Online. Intuit, I love you. I love your accounting software. Hate your payroll software. Sorry. I love ADP. Gusto is okay. Or you could work with a local payroll company. There are literally local payroll companies who specialize in just payroll. So definitely recommend checking that out. Let's see. What else? What else is there? Okay, let's talk about two more things. And then I do see a super chat. So let me just get to Iris real quick. How do you balance marketing with client tasks in the beginning? So Iris, first of all, really appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much for the $1.99. Let me just, because you did that, let me answer your question first before I finish my notes. So how do you balance marketing? So the hardest thing to do is marketing and sales. In the beginning, you have no clients. So 10% of your time is spent learning bookkeeping in QuickBooks. And then 90% of your time is spent marketing. So all of the free time that you have, if you're working your full-time job, taking care of your family, going to the gym, going to church, 100% of your free time not spent already doing activities. I would break it up like that. 10% learning, 90% marketing and sales. But now once you get your first client, now all of a sudden, you're probably done learning, right? You're probably done learning bookkeeping and QuickBooks, but now you have to deliver high quality customer service. So you have to continuously do marketing and sales and deliver high quality customer service. Delivering customer service, most important thing that you can do. Most important thing. So I do it first. I do customer service first. So if you have a couple clients, then I do bookkeeping first. I will do their bookkeeping first, and then the rest of the time, let's say you have 4 hours per day of free time. The rest of the time, do marketing and sales. So do all my clients first. And guess what? If you're so busy that you don't have time for marketing and sales, amazing. Congratulations. Your marketing and sales worked. So now you have 4 hours in the day. Do bookkeeping for 4 hours. If you just got a big cleanup project, congratulations. You just got a $5,000 paycheck. Take a week off of marketing and sales. Focus on the cleanup project. And then do marketing and sales when you get some free time. So first and foremost, most important, deliver high quality customer service, because you just spent so much time doing marketing and sales. You got to keep your current clients. You got to do a good job. You could be the best seller in the world, the best marketer in the world. It's irrelevant. If you can't keep your clients, then it doesn't matter how good you are at marketing. You're going to lose all of your clients. So most important thing you can do, deliver high quality customer service, do that first, and then do marketing and sales the rest of the day, the rest of your free time. Month-end close, tax season. So if you're really stressed out, take a short break from marketing and sales, but I still think it's important. You still want to make at least one post every day. At least one post every day. If you have time, try to make it the best post possible. If you don't have time, just try to put something out. Just try to put something, and you can be real. You can be authentic. You can make a post about how stressed out you are. That's super relatable. A lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of parents, a lot of busy grown-ups are very stressed out. So don't be afraid to be authentic. Make a video, make a post. Hey, feeling really burnt out right now. It's tax season. It's busy season. I just got 2 new clients and a massive bookkeeping cleanup project. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm feeling really stressed out, but I'm still on pace to hit my goal of onboarding 5 new clients before the end of the year. That can be a post that you make. Make it super simple, make it short, make it sweet. Just Make a post every day if you can. If you don't have enough time, then take a break for 2 or 3 days, but you got to get back on it. Be consistent. Make a post every day. Okay, let me get back to my notes. But Iris, great question. Hopefully that answered it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, 2 more really important things that I want to talk about. S Corporation Form 2553. You can elect to be taxed as an S Corp. From what I understand, best time to do it, Q1 of the year. So if you want to elect to be taxed as an S Corp for 2026, the best time to submit the form would be January of 2026. You can download the IRS Form 2553. You can fill it out on your own. If you're a bookkeeper, I recommend do this. Learn how to do this. That way you can consult with your clients and you can walk them through the process. You don't need to hire a CPA to do it. Fill it out yourself, print it out, fill it out, and then you can fax it to the IRS. I always try to fax documents to the IRS. I think they get there quicker than in the mail. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Fax the document to the IRS, and then they will return it. Either way, if you made a mistake, they'll return it and you have to do it again. Or if they accepted it, if they approved it, they'll send you a notice in the mail and saying, hey, thank you so much. We approve your whatever. Zip Capital LLC is now being taxed as an S corporation. So this does not change the legal structure of your company. You still have a single member LLC or a partnership, but now instead of a single member LLC, now it is a single member LLC taxed as an S corporation, not changing the legal structure, changing the tax election for that company. There's a lot of benefits to having an S corporation. So real quick, I will just mention, because I'm running out of time, this video is sponsored by Zip Capital. And I'm thinking about Zip Capital right now because I just elected to be taxed as an S Corp in Zip Capital in January of this year. So Zip Capital is an S corporation. It's my investment fund. I'm offering 8 to 12% fixed returns to accredited investors. So if you have $25,000 or more sitting in a savings account, money market, treasury bill, bank CD, consider investing in Zip Capital. I do real estate private money loans. So I lend to real estate investors. It could be a really great alternative if you've got $25,000 or more, just cash laying around, earning less than 3% interest. I can offer 8 to 12% fixed annual returns. So there's a link down below. Register on my website if you want to learn more about Zip Capital. S corporation, huge benefits here, S corporation. So if you elect to be taxed as an S corp using Form 2553, you need to put yourself as the owner on payroll. You need to pay yourself a reasonable salary. What does that look like? Nobody knows. You can do some research. What's a reasonable salary for a bookkeeper? But a reasonable salary for a bookkeeper making $100,000 a year profit is probably different than the reasonable salary for a bookkeeper making $500,000 of profit per year. I'm not sure. I'm not a tax expert. Do your own research, talk to your CPA, but you as the owner of the S Corp need to be put on a reasonable salary. So you need to use a payroll company, but here's the huge benefit. Whatever you pay yourself, your salary is not going to be the total net income for your business. It's probably going to be a little bit less than the net income for your business. You need to pay self-employment tax, payroll tax, FICA, Social Security, Medicare. It's all the same thing. It's all 15%, 15.3%, I think, of your net income. This is self-employment tax. Before, when you used to work at Home Depot would pay for half of your self-employment, your payroll tax. So they would pay 7.65%. But now you are employee and employer. So the employee pays 7.65%. The employer pays 7.65% payroll tax, FICA, Social Security, Medicare. But now, as a business owner, you are employee and employer. So you are paying on top of federal income tax, state income tax, local income tax, you are also paying payroll tax. It's 15.3%. This is huge. This is a really big number. But the cool thing about electing to be taxed as an S corporation, whatever your corporate business net income is. So you're going to give yourself a salary. So that salary is an expense for your S corporation. So let's just say your business makes $100,000 of profit per year. If you don't elect to be taxed as an S corporation, you're going to pay 15.3% on the entire $100,000 of profit at the end of the year. Let's say you elect to be taxed as an S corporation. You're a bookkeeper. Your reasonable salary is $60,000. Now, Harrisburg Bookkeeping LLC, S corporation, net income is $40,000. And Zach Pasquarello got a W-2 for $60,000. I pay payroll tax on my $60,000 salary. I don't pay payroll tax on the $40,000 Harrisburg Bookkeeping LLC S Corporation business income that I file on my 1120S in March 15th. This is the huge tax saving. I'm going to save 15%, 15.3% of $40,000 just by electing to be taxed as an S corporation. My business, I made the exact same amount of money, but I'm only paying self-employment tax, payroll tax on my salary, not the $40,000 left over after I deduct my salary as a business expense from Harrisburg Bookkeeping. Huge tax savings, 15% of $40,000. What is that? $9,000, give or take. Not really sure. I think it's close to, $4,000, $8,000, $6,000, whatever. You get the idea. Huge tax savings. Now, final thing, you can pay your kids to work in your business, but it's really important. If you pay your kids under the age of 18, you have to pay them a reasonable salary and they have to perform reasonable duties. I'm not going to pay my toddler $20 an hour to drive a truck in my trucking company, but I could pay my 10-year-old to clean my office, or I could pay my 14-year-old to help with advertising and marketing, whatever. Think about creative ways that you could pay your kids. The cool thing is, as the parent of your kids, the business owner, employing your kids, you don't pay payroll tax on your children. So you're saving that 15.3% just by paying your kids. But here's the important distinction. If it's an S corporation, all of the employees in an S corporation are subject to payroll tax. So here's what I did. Not sure about this. So this is just what I've done. This is just for educational purposes. So consult with your own tax professional, financial advisor, CPA, attorney before you do this. But here's what I did. Ask them about this. I have Harrisburg Bookkeeping as an LLC, taxed as an S corporation. I have Pasquarello Family Management Company that employs my kids. Harrisburg, that's an Pasquarello Family Management Company, is an independent contractor for Harrisburg Bookkeeping. Harrisburg Bookkeeping pays Pasquarello Family Management Company. They get a 1099 for advertising and marketing. Pasquarello Family Management Company employs my children, and Pasquarello Family Management Company pays my kids. So Pasquarello Family Management Company is owned 100% by me. I don't pay payroll tax on the wages for my kids. My kids, this gets a little bit complicated. My kids have to file a 1040 individual income tax return. My kids have to file taxes at the end of the year because they're W-2 employees of Pasquarello Family Management Company. So Pasquarello Family Management Company, let's say I've got 4 kids, it pays each kid $10,000. So Pasquarello Family Management Company has an expense of $40,000. Harrisburg Bookkeeping pays Pasquarello Family Management Company $40,000 for advertising and marketing. So the family management company makes $0. Harrisburg Bookkeeping gets a $40 expense. The kids don't have to pay federal income tax because their $10,000 salary is below the federal standard deduction. And the kids don't have to pay payroll tax because they're working for their parents' company. So the $40,000 is not subject to federal income tax because of the federal standard deduction. No payroll tax because they're my own kids. The only tax they have to pay is state income tax and local income tax. State income tax in Pennsylvania is like 3%. Local income tax in Pennsylvania, in my county, is like 1.5%. So I'm paying 4.5% state and local taxes on the $40,000, and I don't need to pay. My kids don't need to pay. Nobody needs to pay federal income tax or payroll tax because I hire my kids. So that's my tax strategy. That's what I've been doing. I've got an S corp. Harrisburg Bookkeeping LLC is an S corp. Family management company employs my kids, does work for Harrisburg Bookkeeping. Sorry, that was a long and drawn out explanation. Looks like we got a couple super chats and then I got to hop off. Let's see. Bobby, I am posting every day on my Facebook page. I purchased your marketing course, but I do not know how to friend the business owners. Okay, Bobby, here's what you're going to do. Join local Facebook groups and find individuals in those Facebook groups. And then you're going to friend request the actual people. You're not going to friend request the businesses or the business pages. You're just going to friend request the actual people. So I live in South Central Pennsylvania. So there's a Facebook group called South Central PA Support Small Business Owners. It's got 20,000 people in it. So I joined that group. go to the people in that group, and then just search through the members with things in common. So go to the Facebook group, go to the people in the group, members with things in common, and then search through those people and look for business owners in that list of people. It should have their job title below their name. So search for common words like owner, president, entrepreneur, self-employed, CEO, founder, investor. Look for words in their job title that might suggest that they're business owners. So I also do this on Facebook and LinkedIn. Right now, I'm sending 30 connection requests every single day to people on LinkedIn, trying to get them to invest into Zip Capital. So I am literally doing this strategy right now. So go to Facebook, go to the Facebook group, and look for people in those groups. Send 20 to 30 friend requests every single day. If you're brand new, space it out. Do 5 in the morning, 5 before lunch, 5 after lunch, 5 in the afternoon, 5 before dinner, and 5 before you go to bed. Space it out so that you don't get dinged with spam. Okay, last one. Bookkeeping Conroe. Zach, good morning. What is your method to ask the client about transactions in the bank feed that have no clear purpose? My client has tons of these. Okay, so it all depends. It all depends on how many there are and how responsive your client is and the size of the transaction. So you can export bank feed transactions into an Excel spreadsheet. So I try to record all the transactions that I know how to record on my own, and then I will export those transactions into an Excel spreadsheet, and I will just send that Excel spreadsheet to my client. I'll say, hey, please see attached. Here's a list of transactions. I'm not sure how to categorize these. Can you please provide some more information? Please let me know, who did you pay? What did you buy? Or just provide a brief description for each of these transactions. If it's easier, let's hop on a call. If it's easier, here's my calendar link. Let's schedule a 30-minute meeting so that we can review these transactions and so we can talk about it. Okay, let's see. One more question. Do you offer a monthly subscription or payment for a mentorship program? No, but I do have a course for sale. Down below, there's a course for sale, and I also host weekly private group meetings every Monday at 3 p.m. I think those meetings are really, really helpful. It's an accountability group, a support group. So Shelby McLean 7036, definitely recommend. Check out the links down below. I've got a ton of digital downloads. I've got the weekly mentorship or the private group weekly calls every Monday at 3 p.m. I go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So feel free to hop on, ask some questions. I also have a Facebook group. There's a Facebook group linked down below. You can join my Facebook group. It's free, and you can ask questions in there. That's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Thank you for your questions. Sorry I couldn't get to a lot of the questions today, but I will be back same time, same place tomorrow. Thank you all so much. I will see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m.